Okay, we are back. Let's start the next case. This is number 7 in Travel Through Time, or Travel in Time. Gone in 30 seconds. Matthew, I can't believe someone sabotaged our time machine to strand us in the 1960s. He tampered with our machine right before we left Egypt and followed us to make sure it had worked. He left nothing to chance. The video showed the saboteur reporting to someone, so someone hired him to do this. But who? We have a lot of questions, and for now, no answers. I'm working on figuring out just what is wrong with the time machine. It seems that the saboteur wrecked the temporal navigational shaft, so we're marooned, my friends. And protocol in case of a time marooning is clear. Stranded teams need to leave a message in a safe place to be found by the time chief and the teams present. That's why we come to New York City. Time's future headquarters will be here. I still don't know where in New York City we can leave a message and be sure Chief Scott will find us 60 years from now. There's a list of recommended drop sites. I need to find locations that exist both in the late 1960s and in 2029. As soon as I found the best place on the list, I'll tell you. Does that mean we have to stay cooped up in the time machine again? I wanted to stretch my legs. Fine, you can go out, but put on your police uniform and take Matthew with you. And please stay discreet. Look at this place, Matthew. Grand Central Station, the heart of Manhattan. Classy buildings stay classy no matter the decade. Still, I hope time will rescue us soon and will... Officers, thank goodness you're here. A man just collapsed in front of my newsstand. Please do something quick. Oh, yeah. We'll head to the newsstand because we're normal local police officers. We must do our duty. Got it. Matthew, this man didn't just collapse. He was murdered. It looks like he was stabbed in the hip and bled out. What should we do, Matthew? You're right. We're dressed as cops on a murder scene. We must investigate. This wallet was close to the victim's body. It must be his. Let's look through the wallet for some identification. And those bloody gloves must have been the killer's. Let's get a sample of the brown bits on them. Matthew, I'm sure we'll be rescued by time soon, but for now, we have a job to do. I need to get some stars, so sit tight, folks. Alright, I got myself 7 stars, so let's examine the wallet first. Got it. Billy Snapshot. Kooky name. The driver's license in the wallet says the victim's name was Billy Snapshot. Good point, Matthew. Maybe Billy Snapshot was a client of that news guy. We need to get a statement from him. Bucky Johnson. Okay. Excuse us, sir. Senior Trooper Matthew and I wanted to ask you a few questions about the man who collapsed. Whatever I can do to help, officers. I guess the guy's dead, huh? Yes. You must see a lot of people from your newsstand. Ever seen the victim before? Well, he came by here every morning to get a newspaper. He was always talking about that workshop place. Said he was an artist. The workshop and artsy types. That sort of rings a bell. It should. They're the kind of hip thing these days in New York. The whole gang of them are led by that famous artist guy, Sandy Lemko. Art's not my thing, though. I'm what those kids call square. Thanks for your time, Mr. Johnson. Stay nearby. We may have further questions. Since the victim spent time there, it looks like we need to go check out this famous workshop, Matthew. We'll get the bloody gloves out of the way first. Got it. Brown bits. You've got to sample the brown bits off the killer's gloves, Matthew. Theo should have a look at those. Now let's examine the art studio. Got it. So, Matthew, this is the famous workshop, huh? Sure is artsy. And speaking of art, it looks like you found a canvas. I can't see what's painted, but there's a note. For Billy, with love. The victim was an artist named Billy. This canvas must have been some kind of present for him. I'll grab your Justin kit so we can see more. And this giant silver banana must be art as well? But why would it be locked? Oh no, Matthew, there's someone in this banana. We have to get this thing unlocked. You've managed to unlock the silver banana thing. Let's open it, Matthew. Oh, thank goodness. I thought I was going to die in there. Wow, aren't you that famous artist, Sandy Lemko? I am, and right now I need to find the megastar who locked that zipper. This was supposed to be an art installation, not a prank. But before you do that, Mr. Lemko, we need to ask you a few questions about one of the workshop artists. Mr. Lemko, what can you tell us about Billy Snapshot? Billy Snapshot? He's one of the future megastars I'm mentoring. I even gave him that new last name. I mean, like, what's a real name anyway? Everything is fake. Fake is good. I like fake. Well, it seems that someone didn't like Billy. He was murdered earlier today. Billy's dead? But he had such potential. He could have been as famous as me one day, at least for a quarter hour. I understand this must come as a bit of a shock, but this might seem callous, but can I come to the morgue and film him? Without him, my film Rubbish just won't be the same. Maybe his body can still be in it? Film a dead body? No, of course that isn't possible. Stick around the workshop. I have a feeling we'll be speaking with you again. Who's the woman depicted on this canvas? Could she be the person who gave it to the victim with love? Good call, Matthew. We better compare this painting to images of all the workshop artists. I gotta say, this title is a really nice knockoff of Gone in 60 Seconds. Ellie Argent. According to the list of workshop regulars, the woman in that painting is an aspiring artist named Ellie Argent. If this painting was a present from her to the victim, we'd better go ask Miss Argent some questions about Billy Snapshot. Miss Argent, we need to ask you a few questions. Ask away. I can tell you anything. Just the facts, ma'am. What can you tell us about Billy Snapshot? Billy? He's just the sweetest guy. We're going to be megastars together in Sandy Lemko's new film, Rubbish. Megastars? In an art film? Oh, you big silly. Megastars are what Sandy calls a stable of artists. I'm afraid you won't be a megastar with Billy, Miss Argent. Someone murdered him today at Grand Central Station. Billy was murdered? That's awful. Indeed. Please stay close to the workshop, Miss Argent. We may have some more questions. Okay, I'm going to have all stars collected. I'm going to let these two run their courses. So for now, this is Matthew. See you again. Okay, we are back. Let's get the results of the autopsy from Janice. Matthew, Woodstock was fun, but I have to say, I'd hoped we'd be back home by now. Me too, Janice, but I'm sure Amy can find the best way to reach time soon. So, for now, what can you tell us about our victim? His femoral artery was stabbed with a small, sharp object. Once it was removed, the victim bled out in about 30 seconds. So he never had a chance. Did you find anything else on the body? The killer held the victim's left shoulder as they punctured his leg. As a result, the killer transferred traces of canned tomato soup to the victim's clothing. So the killer eats tomato soup. Comfort food won't be a comfort to them for long. Now the brown bits. Matthew, it feels good to be back in New York. I mean, we're stuck in the 60s, but at least I can get a decent bagel. Theo, bagels are gluten bombs. Your body ages more quickly the more gluten it has to process. Jack, you could do with a little bagel treatment yourself. Maybe an egg wash mask to tighten your pores. Oh no! Are they enormous again? But I tried a pore treatment just the other day. Settle down, Jack. I'm just teasing. I know. Matthew, enough about my pores. So what about that sample from the gloves? The sample appears to be loose tobacco for hand-rolled cigarettes. The killer must have rolled quite a few cigarettes before stabbing the victim. So the killer rolls their own cigarettes. That's a handy skill to have where they'll be going. Jack, what's this I hear about a murder investigation? Amy, I swear I only wanted to stretch my legs, but Matthew and I found a dead body and we were dressed like cops. We were stuck. Well, what's done is done, but try to finish this investigation quickly. We came here to leave a message for Chief Scott, after all. We've already made headway. The victim was Billy Snapshot, an aspiring artist in Sandy Lemko's famous workshop. Snapshot was stabbed by someone in Grand Central Station and bled out in 30 seconds. Ellie Argent, another aspiring workshop artist, said that she and Billy were going to be in a movie by Sandy Lemko, while Lemko himself wanted to film Snapshot's dead body, which is creepy. Speaking of the victim's body, I was going through the victim's clothes again before bagging them, and I found proof that Billy Snapshot had a safe deposit box at Grand Manhattan Bank. Okay. And we will see you guys for Chapter 2 of Gone in 30 Seconds. See y'all soon. Okay, we are back. Let's start Chapter 2 of Gone in 30 Seconds. We last left off. Yep, here. I found proof that Billy Snapshot had a safe deposit box at Grand Manhattan Bank, number 1034. There's a paper stating that he was there today. Good point, Matthew. Money is one of the top 3 motives for murder. Let's go to that bank. Excuse me, ma'am. We're investigating the murder of one of your clients, Billy Snapshot. Goodness gracious, a murder? The victim was here earlier today, and we need access to a safe deposit box, number 1034. Certainly, officers. Please follow me to the vault. Got it. You found box 1034, Matthew. We know it belongs to the victim, so please open it. You also found a message to the victim. It reads, Billy, all I need is 30 seconds to end you. 30 seconds? The victim bled out in that amount of time. This is a threat from the killer. There was something else printed on the paper used for the threat. You'll need your dusting kit. And if you think those wood chips have anything to do with the victim, piece them back together, please. Bank vaults often hide secrets, so we're bound to find a clue to help us catch the killer in here. So, Matthew, what does the rest of the information on that paper mean? In addition to the threat, there's a serial number of some kind, and the Timbrello. What's that? Orlando will be able to tell us what this paper is, I'm sure. Seven, eight, 788. Seven, 8, 1, 7, 6. Passport. Is that a passport in the victim's safe deposit box, Matthew? Wait, but that's a Soviet passport with a photo of Billy's snapshot. I can't read the name written on the passport. Good call, Matthew. Let's take this Soviet passport to Amy and ask her what we should do. Amy, we found the Soviet passport in the victim's safe deposit box. It's him in the passport photo. The victim had a Soviet passport? I knew investigating this murder was going to be trouble. We're in the 60s. The Cold War is on, Matthew. The US and the Soviets are pitted against each other. Capitalism versus communism. Not only are the respective governments competing for ideology, but also space exploration and nuclear arms. What can we do, Amy? We can't just drop the murder investigation. Bozhe-moi, a Soviet passport? Where did you find that? And isn't that the victim? I thought his name was Billy Snapshot, but the passport says Rodion Glebovich Rozovsky. Exactly. This is why we need to know just who our victim is, and why he has a Soviet passport. Amy, we need to ask the Soviet embassy. Okay. You can approach the Soviet embassy and ask the ambassador, but you need to be very careful. Lev Romanov. Wonder if any relation to Marina. Mr. Ambassador, Comrade Lev Romanov, what would two of New York's finest want at the Soviet embassy? We're investigating the murder of a certain Billy Snapshot, or rather, Rodion Rozovsky. This Rodion Rozovsky, I've never seen him in my life. But his having a Soviet passport is suspicious. Either way, I assure you, we will look into it. Good day. We just spoke with the Soviet ambassador in the middle of the Cold War. I hope he didn't create a major time ripple. But we can't leave this murder unsolved. We must forge on. Billy's drink free. Those wooden chips are a drink token. It could have been the victim's. It reads, Billy's drink free. But where, Matthew? Oh, the flip side of the token says the Woodgate Inn. We better see if the lady stamped on the token knows the victim. Martha Jefferson. Hello, officers. How can the Woodgate Inn help you today? We found a Billy's drink free token for your bar. We need any information about a Billy who had one of these tokens. He was murdered today. You will have to be more specific. I know a lot of Billys. I can't keep them all straight. I can't keep anything straight. Billy Snapshot was his name. Oh, that Billy. Somebody killed him? That's horrible. He was here on Billy Night, all right. Sweet guy, but I can't quite remember his face. I keep this place dark for a reason. But the lack of light has its disadvantages. I can't find all the cigarettes I rolled earlier or my Ruby Rose lipstick. Well, it's best if you don't keep us in the dark. We may be back with more questions. I'll let the threat run its course, so for now, this is Matthew. See you then. The threat has run its course. Welcome back. Ah, New York City. It's where I got my start, Matthew. Sounds like there's a story there. There is, but today is not the day to tell it. You need information. That was quite a specific threat to the victim on the paper you sent me. Which, by the way, was a ticket for a Broadway musical called Starshine, playing at the Timbrello Theater in 1969. Musicals aren't my forte. Oh, come on, Jack. You've heard of Starshine. Every song was a hit. The costumes influenced fashion for years. Must have been before my time, so to speak. Well, the killer was front row center for Starshine, and they wrote the threat to the victim on their ticket. So the killer had a taste for the musical Starshine, and for following through on threats. Speaking of stars, Matthew, we should go back to the workshop and do another sweep for clues. Oh, now I see the champagne. I don't think I'm gonna get the first star though. It took too long. No. That bottle of champagne seems to be a gift thanking the victim for an invitation. We must discover what else is written on that bag. And if you think something important is hiding in that crate of artsy stuff, rummage through it, Matthew. We need more leads. Moment, folks. Alright, I got myself up to 20 stars. So now, let's go ahead and do this. Got it. Okay, this thing you found in the blue crate is... I don't know what this is. These are dolls. The boy doll is dressed like the victim, though, and the girl doll is in a silver swimsuit. I hope Orlando can look at these dolls and glean meaning from the attire. B. Johnson. The gift tag for the champagne was signed by B. Johnson. Could that be Bucky Johnson, the news agent? He gave the victim champagne? So Johnson knew the victim better than he first said. We better go get the full story. Mr. Johnson, we found the champagne bottle that you gave Billy at the workshop. Yeah, I gave him champagne. Like an idiot. Billy invited me to one of those cool parties. I was so excited. It was my chance to stop being a square. At first the party was amazing. Like that musical Starshine, dancing and sparkly stuff. But all they had to eat was tomato soup, so the alcohol hit me pretty hard. I got distracted and someone stole all my cigarettes that I hand-rolled earlier that day. They all seemed to like me, but it wasn't long before I realized that Billy only invited me to make me look like a fool. Once I made the connection, I stormed out. And did you then plot revenge for the way Billy and his friends treated you? Why would I do that? I don't want any trouble, and I'll steer clear of artists from now on. I'll see you guys when the dolls have run their course. Okay, we are back, and let's get the results of the dolls. Hello, Matthew, back again for my expertise? Of course, we sent you those strange dolls. One was dressed like the victim. That certainly makes a statement. We all tell the world about ourselves with our clothing. For instance, Jack, you're insecure about aging. Your usual clothing is only slightly different from what you wore in your prime. What I wore in my prime? But I'm still fit. Whatever you say. Anyway, this boy doll is in fact dressed just like the victim. And he's tied to this female doll who was only clad in a silver swimsuit like a Hollywood star. They are bound in embroidery threads. Each has a different meaning. Red for love, green for jealousy, blue for longing. Given the use of embroidery thread, this was probably made by an aspiring female artist. but one who wishes to project herself into a glamorous life. And this artist had a turbulent romantic relationship with the victim. An aspiring female artist chasing glamour. You're right, Matthew, that doll could represent that wannabe workshop megastar Ellie Argent. So, Miss Argent and Billy Snapshot had relationship complications. We better go have a word with her. Miss Argent, you told us that you and Billy were shooting a film together, but you didn't mention your romantic relationship. Billy and I weren't together that way, even though I wanted to be. You know how they say the way to a man's heart is through his stomach? Well, I gave him some of my tomato soup. He didn't dig that. When I made my intentions clearer, he rejected me. I still can't believe it. I must have rolled and smoked a million cigarettes that night, trying to figure out how he couldn't like me. Well, I hope he didn't consider murder as a way to end your torment, Miss Argent. Not to worry, officers. I pour my pain into art. Well, Matthew, this investigation is confusing. We've learned that the victim played a prank on that news agent, Bucky Johnson, and that he rejected the advances of aspiring artist Ellie Argent. But more importantly, the victim may not be who we thought he was. We discovered his Soviet passport with the name Rodion Rozovsky. But the Soviet ambassador Lev Romanov claims never to have heard of him. Hopefully we haven't stumbled into some Cold War conspiracy. Hey Matthew, got some news for you. While I was working on the temporal navigational system, I was listening to the local police channel. Someone is trying to get access to the victim's account at Grand Manhattan Bank. Oh boy. We'll start chapter 3 after this. Do not go anywhere. And we're back. Let's start chapter 3 of Gone in 30 Seconds. We last left off with Kai telling us someone claiming to be a relative of the victims is demanding access to a safe deposit box at Grand Manhattan Bank. Some stranger wants access to the victim's valuables. We need to get over there right away. Officers, this gentleman is insisting that Mr. Snapshot was a close blood relative of his, but we have no record of any relatives with access to the safe deposit box. Don't worry, ma'am, we know this guy. What are you doing here, Mr. Lemko? Mr. Lemko? I have no idea who that is. Uh-huh. Sure, I guess you like fake even more than you said you did, Lemko. But we still need to know why you wanted Snapshot's safe deposit box. Mr. Lemko, why did you want to gain access to Billy Snapshot's safe deposit box? Money! I know he had some. He always bragged about it. So you admit that you try to rob a dead man? Why bother suffering for my art when I can just use Billy's money? He doesn't need it anymore. And he owed me. He promised to finance my movie Rubbish, but he never did. There are better ways to finance your rubbish film than stealing from the dead. Well, there's no way I'm going back to living on tomato soup while I scrape my pennies together. Charming. If you did kill Billy for his money, you can forget your film. Now get back to your workshop and be glad we aren't arresting you for fraud and theft. As for us, Matthew, we need to have another look around the vault. We can't let this investigation go cold. Moment, folks. All right. All right. That note has a message to the victim on it. It reads, "You will pay for my surgery, Billy." The red substance the message was written isn't blood. We'll need a sample. And that locked pencil case has the initials BS on it. It must have belonged to Billy Snapshot. Let's get it open. Supercross from MetLife Stadium is on right now, but I'm going to get this over with as quickly as I can. Just like that. You have a sample of that red substance from the note. Let's get it under the microscope, Matthew. Lipstick. Your analysis says that the red substance from the message is Ruby Rose lipstick. You're right, Matthew. That's the lipstick Martha Jefferson says she wears. So Martha Jefferson told the victim he'd have to pay for her surgery. Let's go ask her why. Miss Jefferson, why did you tell Billy Snapshot that he'd be paying for your surgery? What happened? It's a long story. Billy Snapshot was not who he appeared to be. He was hiding something. I tried to get him to tell me that he was gay. He got so angry, Senior Trooper Matthew, he punched my face, kicked me in the stomach. That's awful, Miss Jefferson. Did you have to go to the hospital? Yes. He broke my nose. The doctor said I need surgery. I wrote that message in a fit of pique, but even then I never wanted to see Billy's face again. And now, thank goodness, I don't have to. And, oh no, that's not it. That's it. You got the victim's pencil case unlocked, and it's full of pencils. But those pencils look odd. You're right, Matthew. The eraser ends of the pencils look like they're wrapped in microfilm. I'm not sure Kai even has a way to analyze such primitive tech, but we have to try. Let's get all this to him. Nine hours. And I'll see you when this is done. So for now, this is Matthew. See you later. Okay, we are back. Let's get the results of the microfilm from Kai. Matthew, thanks for sending me that cool old school spy gear. Spy gear? So with the double identity and now the microfilm, what was Billy's snapshot up to, I wonder? Apparently, the victim was taking pictures of Lev Romanov. So Billy's snapshot was spying on the Russian ambassador. Why would he be so interested in Lev Romanov? I should ask you the same thing, Matthew. Why didn't you tell me that my grandfather was a suspect? Lev Romanov is your grandfather? Yes, my mother told me he was in New York in the 60s, but I never knew what he did until now. There's so much I don't know about my family. Could I tag along for this interrogation? You want to talk to your grandfather? Not possible. The dangers of affecting the future are too great, Marina. But what about Janice? She talked to her younger self. Marina, we're dealing with a Soviet ambassador during the Cold War, not a 13-year-old at Woodstock. Sorry, but we'll be questioning Mr. Romanov about the victim spying on him without you. Mr. Romanov, you may not know Billy, or rather Rodion, but he knew you. He had microfilm photos of you taken all over Manhattan. Okay, Billy was working for us, the Soviets. So he was a spy. That explains the double identity. But why was he spying on you? I'm not sure. Lately he had failed to check in, and once or twice I sensed he was following me. So when you found out about his spying, you killed him? Nyet, that would be so sloppy. If I killed him, I would draw far too much attention to our operations. And besides, what could he have told them? That I kissed that sweet young workshop artist on the cheek at the opening night of Starshine? Or perhaps that I prefer tomato soup to borscht, or roll my own cigarettes. Questioning me is pointless anyway, Senior Trooper Matthew. I have diplomatic immunity. Even if I killed Snapshot, nothing would happen to me. He just put himself in the possibility category. And so did Ellie Argent. My money's on Ellie Argent, though. Matthew, I can't believe Billy Snapshot was a Soviet spy. But then he started spying on the Soviets. We're truly in the heart of the Cold War. cloak and dagger, microfilm, and double identities. Could his espionage have gotten himself killed? The only suspect aware of his double identity is Soviet ambassador Lev Romanov. And Romanov just happens to also be Marina's grandfather. What are the odds? But Romanov's not the only one with motive. Billy Snapshot beat up Martha Jefferson and left her needing surgery. Matthew, I have a feeling that the only way we're going to solve this murder is to find the murder weapon. Let's look around the crime scene again. Okay. Now let's check out the newsstand up close. Thankfully the newer versions came out. Well, the newest version came out, which is the Conspiracy, but I do not plan to play that. I'm considering leaving the Mysteries of the Past one because I already have that up. And I really don't see any need to do those cases all over again. Got it. Matthew, if you think that torn leather is a clue, then please piece it back together. A look through the trash could be helpful too. We must wrap up this investigation so we can focus on getting home. It's a wallet. Or no. Doesn't look like one. That torn leather is a pouch for rolling tobacco. We know that the killer uses rolling tobacco for their cigarettes. This pouch must be theirs. Let's get it to Theo. Ice pick. Matthew, this ice pick you found in the trash is covered in blood. And Janice says that the victim was stabbed with a short, sharp object. This ice pick may fit the bill. Let's get it to Theo. Alright, that's gonna do. And I'll see you guys when these two are finished. We're gonna bag us another killer soon. Stay tuned for that. Okay, we are back. Let's get the results of the tobacco pouch first. Hey Matthew, the killer might have thought destroying this pouch would hide evidence, but they were wrong. All they managed to do was leave skin cells behind on it. From those cells, I determined that the killer has light eumelanin and no pheomelanin. Wait, I know this one. So that means that the killer is blonde? A gold star for Jack. Great memory of your past cases. Maybe you're not aging as quickly as you think. Well, the killer may seem innocent with their golden locks, but looks won't deceive Matthew. Matthew, I know we need to get back to 2029, but being stranded is not so bad with Zara around. We're bonding, I think. Ooh, that's great. But Earth to Theo, we need to know about that ice pick Matthew found in the trash at the station. Well, that ice pick is definitely what killed Billy Snapshot. You found the murder weapon. Excellent. Did you get anything else from it? Indeed. I found traces of zinc oxide and hydrocortisone on the handle. These are both ingredients in rash ointments, so your ice-picking wielding killer has been seeking relief from a rash. Skincare for a rash will be the least of the killer's concerns soon enough, right, Matthew? We've got everything we need to catch Billy Snapshot's, or rather, Rodion Rozovsky's killer, and deliver them to the authorities. Let's go, Matthew. No, it's not Bucky Johnson. It's not Sandy Lemko. Wait a minute. No, not Lev Romanov. It definitely isn't Martha Jefferson. Well, what do you know? It's Ellie Argent. Ellie Argent, you're going down for the murder of Billy Snapshot. What? I would never hurt Billy. I was in love with him. So you say. But love wasn't on your mind when you followed him to Grand Central Station. I don't know what you're talking about. Then you stabbed him in the femoral artery, knowing he would bleed out in under a minute. You even threatened to end him in exactly 30 seconds. Time to come clean, Miss Argent. You killed Billy Snapshot. Yes, I did kill him. Was it because of his double identity? We know Billy Snapshot was really Rodion Rozovsky, a Soviet spy. He was a Soviet spy? I had no idea. So was it the rejection? Did murder help distract you from heartache? No. Don't you see, I was Sandy Lemko's protege. Me. Then in walked Billy. He became the golden child. I dreamed of us being a megastar couple. But when Billy blew me off, so did Sandy. Then the others stopped talking to me at parties. It was like I was invisible. I had to get back in the spotlight. And since you couldn't join Billy in the spotlight, you killed him. That's it, Miss Sargent. We've heard enough. The courts will deal with you. You can face 20 years in prison. Matthew, thanks for dropping Miss Argent and the victim's body at the Central Station precinct. They'll take it from here. Isn't it ironic? A Soviet spy turned against his own country, but ended up getting killed because of his cover persona. I really hope that our actions haven't affected the future in a bad way, but we had to solve that murder. Jack, we've been stranded so long now, it's impossible to know what effects we're having. That said, we cannot stand by while murders are happening. But now that the investigation is over, we must focus on our rescue and return to 2029. And we'll go to times are changing to 5 in just a minute. Don't go anywhere. Time to start. Times are changing to 5. Matthew, I haven't made any progress fixing the temporal navigational system. The triphasal cortex is fried. No idea how the saboteur managed that. Chin up, Kai. You'll get it figured out. In the meantime, I figured out what we should do according to the time marooning protocol. Last I heard, we were supposed to leave a message in one of the designated locations for time people to find 60 years from now, right? Yes, and I know what the best location is, but I'll need Zara and Theo for this mission. Why bother Theo? I'm sure I can partner with Zara. Nice of you to offer, but I'll need you here. Protocol dictates that we must also set up a beacon to emit a signal to help time rescue us. Rescue? That word has a nice ring to it. Once you're done with that, would you mind swinging by to talk to Nebbit with me, Matthew? I've got this great idea. I'll tell you all about it. I'm sure Matthew will see you once we're done talking about my plan, Jack. Hey Amy, you wanted to see us about leaving a message for Chief Scott in the future to come rescue us? Yes, and I've identified the perfect place to leave the message. The bank. We need to open a safe deposit box in the Chief's name, leave him a letter, and tell the bank to notify him in 2029. Great idea, and we know the bank still exists in the future, so he'll be able to get it. Exactly, but we need a legit cover to open that account. Zara and Theo, I want you to go to the bank and pose as the Chief's parents. I'd be delighted to pose as your husband, Zara, and I've known how to deal with upscale banks ever since I first accessed my trust fund. Excellent. This letter contains an explanation of our problem, as well as the coordinates where time can pick us up. Matthew, please go along with them as their financial advisor. That will help sell the whole rich couple thing. Well, Zara, let's go get kitted up like a rich couple in the 1960s New York, then get ourselves to the bank. Matthew, you should get dressed up too, since we're going to speak with a fancy bank clerk. So here we are at the bank undercover as Chief Scott's parents. Let's lay it on thick to convince them to let us open a safe deposit account for him. Welcome to Grand Manhattan Bank. My name is Judy Strong. How may I assist you today? Already such a high standard of customer service. I told you, honey, that this would be the right bank for our needs. And what we need is to open a safe deposit account for our son. Your son? I would assume this is the standard trust type affair. To be accessed at some future time? Yes, 2029 to be exact. 2029? That's thinking ahead. Will that be a problem? We could always try another bank if Grand Manhattan isn't capable of this sort of thing. Oh no, not at all. You just need form C21-1015, but I don't have any left on me. I'll have to go down to the vault and look for one, but I'm rather new here, so it may take me some time. Oh, please allow us to help you, Miss Strong. I'm sure together we can find it in no time. I'm sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Scott, but I can't find the form. But it appears that your financial advisor found some torn paper that could be it. Matthew, would you please piece that paper together to determine whether or not that is the form we need? There we go. Okay, torn paper now. Yep, it is. Why, that must be the very last example of Form C21-1015. You're in luck. Oh my, it appears that we will need quite a few documents. Of course, we need proof of state residence, proof of financial resources, standard stuff. Well then, Matthew, let's just take this form to your assistant, Orlando. He can gather all the necessary documents. Nine hours. Now let's talk to Nebbit. Jack, you wanted to see me? Yes, Nebbit. Since we're in the 1960s, it's a chance for you to see how the world's changed since ancient times. We should go see the sights of New York City. Oh, I want to see this New York City more than anything. And we want to show it to you, but I need a refresher on 60s New York City myself. Let's all go to Grand Central Station and look for a guidebook at that newsstand, Matthew. Alright, Grand Central Station. Well, that might be it. Snack stand. Matthew, this city is amazing! Who is the mighty king or queen of New York? There isn't a monarch here. Wow, this must all be so strange to you. Speaking of strange, Matthew, I couldn't find a guidebook. Have you? If you think those snacks could be hiding something, feel free to have a look. Film time was running out, so I had to start another one. Got it. You found a tour guidebook to New York City and all those snacks. And on the subject of snacks, I know the first thing we should do. I think Nebbit should have a hot dog. What do you think, Matthew? A hot dog? You eat dogs here? No, it's not a dog like the animal. It's a sort of sandwich. Since I cook for the team, I guess I should try one. You seem to love them. I do. And I don't want you to have just any old hot dog, Nebbit. We've got to find the best one in town. It says in the guidebook that the Woodgate Inn won an award for their hot dogs last year. And we know the owner. Let's go talk to her. Senior Trooper Matthew, what a lovely surprise. And who is this little slip of a thing? I am Nebbit, and Officer Jack and Senior Trooper Matthew brought me here for a hot dog. Oh, you must have read about our award. Well, you've come to the right place, Sugar Bee. And I'll even let you have it on the house if you tell me who designed that outfit. Senior Trooper Matthew, what is on the house? Do we eat it on the roof? Where did you find her? She's adorable. Sweetie, on the house means it's free. That's very generous, Miss Jefferson, but I insist on paying for the hot dogs and whatever else Nebbit wants. As for you, Senior Trooper Matthew, you probably don't have time for sightseeing. See you back at headquarters. Okay, I was going to wait, but you know what? I had to start another part, so let's go ahead and speed this up and get this form out. Let's get this form all figured out. Hey Orlando, how's it going with those documents? We need to open that safe deposit account and leave the letter for Chief Scott in the future. The documents took some time, but here are your fake papers. Now you can return to the bank with these documents, and the form has a very convincing Mr. and Mrs. Scott. They look so real. I never would have imagined you could forge so many papers in so little time. Oh my dears, that's nothing compared to building a corset. Funny, I rather like pretending to be a married couple, Zara. That's a good one, Theo. Or are you secretly dreaming of wedded bliss? Ooh. Being stranded in time does make a guy rethink his priorities. Rethink your priorities later. We need to get these papers to Miss Strong so we can open a deposit account and use it to store the letter for the chief. Okay. Let's return the form. Hello again, Mr. and Mrs. Scott. You sure were fast with that paperwork. Well, we need to finish setting up the account as soon as possible. We'll be leaving on a trip soon. Then let's set up this deposit box for young Master Scott, shall we? Yes, and we must specify that we need the bank to contact him in 2029 to let him know about the contents, but not before. Most certainly, ma'am. We did it! And after this clever ruse, I'm famished. Let's go grab a bite somewhere. Good news! Amy's letter to Chief Scott is in the vault of the Grand Manhattan Bank. And he'll be notified about its existence in 2029 so time can come rescue us. I have good news too. Jack bought me a hot dog, but it's not a dog at all. Yeah, and we went all over town. Empire State Building, Central Park. I figured we should make the most of being marooned in New York City since time will rescue us soon. Kai, is the beacon ready? I'm afraid not. I'm missing a stabilizer for the homing beacon. I thought I had one, but... Oh, Kai, I think I know what's bothering you. You're jealous because Amy assigned Theo to be Zara's pretend husband on that mission. What? I'm not jealous. You're acting like I'm Ramon Gutierrez on Dos Caballeros, una mujer. Is that the telenovela you're always watching? Yeah, that's the one. But I'm nothing like that guy. I'm sure you're not, Kai. And as Chief Scott would say, let's not make mouse hills out of mountains. Back to the beacon. What do you need to make it work? I need a copper stabilizer like the one in this drawing. When the beacon sends the super subactive homing frequency out, a somatic shape is created in the air molecules inside it. But without a stabilizer, the frequency could blow the beacon to bits. That sounds serious, but I have no idea where we could find something like that. I saw something that looked exactly like Kai's drawing at the workshop. What do they call it, Matthew? A mobile? That's right. Or mobile. Don't worry, Amy. Matthew and I will head to the workshop and get that part. Soda can, flying saucer headphones. Ah, there we are. Matthew, don't the pieces in that mobile look like Kai's drawing? I mean, if you stack them on top of each other. But you're right. We need to compare this mobile to Kai's drawing to be sure. Got the 9 beacon part. Perfect, Matthew. If we stack these pieces of the mobile one on top of the other, they look exactly like the part Kai needs to complete the beacon. But we can't just take this mobile. We should ask Sandy Lemko if we can have it. Officers, back again? What is it this time? Well, Mr. Lemko, there's an art piece we found here, this copper mobile. And what could the police want with that? You know what? Never mind. I don't want to know. If it can help you in some police matter, then take it. Thank you, Mr. Lemko. Now we need to get this mobile to Kai for him to examine, Senior Trooper Matthew. And thank you, Senior Trooper Matthew, for getting justice for Billy. You can have the mobile, and while we're at it, take this piece too. This is 6 hours. This time I'm going to let it run its course, and I'll see you when that's done. We are back, and the beacon has run its course. Let's get the results of that. Matthew, that mobile you found is perfect. I just finished welding the pieces together, and now we have a stabilizer. Now let's get this bad boy in the beacon. Here we go. It's working. It works. Now this little beacon can send out the super subactive homing frequency and remain in one piece. And then time can come pick us up and get us back to 2029. Now we just need to ask Amy where to put this beacon and we're all set. Kai, thank you so much for making the beacon. Time is sure to receive the frequency and get us back to 2029. Now grab your astronaut suit, Matthew. We're heading to Houston, Texas. Houston? Astronauts? What? Because landing one time machine in New York City was tricky enough. We need a place with more room and a place where nobody would notice our beacon. And Houston is home to SARA, the Space Research Center that's working on sending astronauts to the moon. Yeah, with all the SARA research, no one will bat an eye if we set off the beacon. Exactly. So let's get on down to Texas, y'all, so we can get back home to 2029. On May 2nd, which is another Thursday. Another 5 new ones. Another 5. And we finished a page. So that's going to do. And I'm going to see you guys on May 2nd. So I'll catch you all later. For now, this is Matthew. See you again.